My whole thought is you should be comfortable when you're shooting so you get the basics down. Now, you get advanced and you get better and do other things. After that, get more stressed and things. But at least to start, you should be, comfortable, try to feel relaxed to get the basics. Fundamentally, that's the biggest part. Once you get past there.
This is Corey Jones with the Be Ready with Safety Man podcast. Join us every week for a new podcast. Follow us everywhere podcasts are played and on YouTube. Be Ready with Safety Man. This is Corey Jones.
All
right. Welcome to the Safety Man podcast. Safety Man podcast, safetyman.co. Safety Man podcast on YouTube and everywhere podcasts are played. I'm Corey Jones. I'm here with Anthony, and we're going to today talk about what?
So today we are going to talk about what you should bring in your range bag. I thought, some ideas. We'll start off basic. We'll get a little over the top because I always put way too much crap in my bag. We're preppers, so we get a little. Sure, you're gonna go. Well, that's a little excessive,
Yeah,
but
the protein bars are a little excessive.
but we'll get over the top, and we'll start what if this is maybe your first time going to the range, or you just signed up and you're joining a club, or you're going into the police world. Maybe some things you want to think about.
Is this your bag here?
Yeah. So this is my
Is it the Burberry?
Burberry bag. Yes. This is my bag. So
Okay.
the first thing you need is a bag, right?
Yeah. First, you got to get a bag.
So I prefer. Some people start duffel bags, but what I've learned on the duffel bags is I quickly outgrew them. So
Yep.
I got a pretty sturdy, heavy duty bag. So the first thing I would say is get something sturdy, something a little heavy duty. I got the the Molly on the front, so I can clip things to it. And I'll talk about what I put on there, and I'll show that off a little bit, but we'll go through it. So first thing, when you have a new shooter, so if you don't know, Corey is a private instructor now, so he does that privately. And you can actually sign up and train with him. What's the first thing you tell someone? What's the initial stuff they need?
They got to have eye protection and hearing protection right out of the chute. So they got to be able to protect it because there is a tiny explosion going off right in front of you, and it's loud, and it could shoot something, and it could hit you in the eye. Shell casings or that. And those are my favorite ones. Those are the exact ones I have. The Howard Lights are really good hearing protection. They're active hearing protection, so they have a microphone on it. Mm-hmm. So it amplifies our voices, but then as soon as it hears a gunshot, it's smart enough, it dampens down the gunshot. So you can hear your instructor talking to you. You could actually plug your iPhone into that.
Yeah, so, okay, first off, let me tell you this. We are not sponsored by anything we're going to show you today.
No.
So we're just doing this what we actually use. If you are watching, you want to sponsor us, though, let us know.
Yes. Howard Light, hint, hint.
But no, these are the ones that we use, and we just kind of things that have worked over. So yeah, you can plug in. Now, what I would tell you with this is they run off batteries. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you pack in your bag extra batteries because you're going the day that it's going to die is the day that you go to the range.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So make sure that you bring extra batteries with that.
Yes.
Same
and
thing.
if you're buying active ones, make sure they have auto shut off because I've had clients buy them and then they left them on. They come back to the range a week later and their batteries are dead.
All right. So shooting glasses, like you said. Now, for me personally, I shoot a lot outside. And so I have hazel eyes, and for some reason, I don't know what you call it officially, but the yellow tint on the base of the glasses help my eyes when I'm outside a lot better. I wear a lot of glasses that have the yellow tint. But what I would say is get a case for your glasses because you pay the extra $2, $3 and get the case for it because you're going to throw it in your bag. It's going to get all scratched up, and if you're shooting outside and you got sun, going off those scratches, it just really...
Yeah, it messes up your ability to aim properly. It's a distraction. It's unnecessary. Take care of your stuff.
Yeah.
It'll take care of you.
Next thing I would definitely recommend is a safety bag.
Yes.
So I have that right.
Gotta
on the
have
front.
a first aid kit. Gotta have anything from what? Band-Aids to bee stings to a sucking chest wound. We got to be able to take care of all those.
All right, so I'm going to tell you just what I have in mind, just some basic stuff. Number one, if you watched our tourniquet, we'll probably talk about this about a million more times. It's super important. Mm-hmm. I keep my tourniquet together, and I have a bunch of gauze. That's the first thing you're going to need, because if there is an accident, God forbid.
A gunshot wound, you're going to need that.
You're going to definitely need that.
Stop the Bleed is the name of that episode that we talk about the tourniquet, and we have a paramedic on who talks about that. So Stop the Bleed is a good one.
Just some gloves, because and this could just not even be for medical reasons. Obviously, if you're dealing with blood or whatnot, but if you're dealing with a messy gun or there's just oil everywhere, and maybe you already have a cut on your hand, you don't
want those chemicals in it.
Yeah, so gloves are always good. I mean, there's a million reasons you could use your gloves. So, yes. But that's basically what I keep in the medical kit.
Don't you have those cool mechanics gloves?
I do. I
Okay.
do. I'm getting there. I'm
Okay,
getting
that's
there.
in a different section. He's got a lot of pockets. So my bag has a lot of pockets on it, like Anthony's. I like a lot of pockets. Each pocket has its own job. I have a pocket for my first aid medical stuff. I have a pocket for my PPE, my hearing and eye protection. And now during the pandemic, the other thing I have is extra masks in my bag now. Extra surgical masks and a couple of safety man masks too.
The other things I keep in the medical part of the bag, though, I also keep in there just like Tylenol because I get or like ibuprofen because I actually if I'm outside and I'm in the sun like all day, you get a little bit of headaches or dehydration. Just to have that is also good. All right, so I have my my gloves. So if I'm shooting rifle, I usually put on my mechanic gloves. And these are just like literally they were mechanic gloves that were old for laying around my house. Like I didn't go out and buy like high tech gear. Like I literally would use these for doing stuff around the house. And the only thing I did was I just cut out the trigger finger and the rest. But these are great for cold days, though. Gives you better grip on the weapon as well.
So the important thing with gloves, make sure they fit. To make sure that they're tight on your fingers, make sure that they fit. So you don't have any extra fabric getting involved in that trigger or any other fine motor skills you need to do, like magazine release or anything.
All right, so Red Sharpie.
For scoring targets?
Yes. Red Sharpie. This is a good training tool. This is a very effective training tool. You want to explain why a Red Sharpie is very good?
Well, I'm going to tell you the other reason I use a Red Sharpie first.
Okay.
I always want to draw on my finger where I want my shooter to put their pad of their finger on the trigger.
See, I learn something every
I
show.
always do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you drawing on yourself? But they remember at that. But yes, circling rounds that on the target that your shooters are hitting, you want to circle them so you can use the same target multiple times and shoot 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds, right? Bring it back, score it, circle it, and then push it back out. And then subliminally, your shooters will see that, and maybe subconsciously they'll get better.
A pen. You always want to have a pen. Always just have extra pens. Just throw them in your bag. I'm telling you, you're going to use it a million times. You don't know why, but you'll use it for some reason. I don't know another. Okay, this one is a big one. This is a big one. If you're an outdoor shooter, you need this. Suntan lotion. You got to apply your suntan lotion. Okay.
Is that suntan lotion or sunblock? Because obviously me and suntan lotion, we're not friends, but
okay. So this one's actually good because this has a double duty in it. This is sunscreen and insect repellent. That was my second part too.
There you go.
So I have it in there. I won't break out every single thing I have in my bag because we'll be here for 4 hours. But
and then you got to put it back.
If you're shooting outside, especially, I don't know for other parts of the country, you have different bugs and insects. For the Northeast, I would definitely recommend this because mosquitoes are bad here. You can also get tick spray, which I have in the bag as well, because ticks in the springtime they're very small and they're horrible, and Lyme disease is a real thing. I've had family members get it because of the areas that we live in. So sunscreen, insect repellent, tick spray, definitely if you're going to be shooting outdoors.
Yeah, definitely want to protect yourself from all that stuff. And again, it helps you focus. There's nothing worse than you wanting to take that nice clean shot, especially if you're on scope on a rifle or something and you got 15 mosquitoes walking on your face. I mean, I like pretend I'm a Navy SEAL, so I don't move. I just let them bite me. But it's all pretend. It's all fake. It's for Hollywood.
Water.
Gotta have that. Gotta have that agua.
Now, this is the one you need to bring. If you're going outdoors all day, you need that one. This is just my I'm going for like an hour or two shooting.
Yeah. Hydrate or die. Hydrate or die. Gotta hydrate.
Now,
he thirsty.
He made fun of me for the protein, but I do have protein snacks in my bag. I always bring a snack. Listen, I always have water in my bag. I always have a snack. And I pack a lot of water because if I'm out with other guys, there's always the guy that didn't bring anything. And so I'm like the dad sometimes, and I always prepare a little more. But I always bring water, and I always bring some snacks because you're just out there. And the thing about it is you're like, oh, you know what? We're only going for, we're going from 12 to 4. We're going for 4 hours outside, and we'll eat dinner afterwards.
Yeah.
Your adrenaline is pumping, man. Like your body's flowing. So you're working like twice as hard. So your body's just crushing. So it needs nutrients to get back in there. Especially if you're working on getting better at shooting, you want to make sure that you're hydrated. You make sure that you got food in your stomach. You make sure that you're really, pushing forward.
Yeah, I remember training an agency, a private instructor, and one of the shooters was having a hard time, and I pulled him aside and said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, I worked the entire midnight shift, and then they made me come here." So, and it was like noon the next day, and he had been awake for almost 20 hours, and he hadn't even eaten. So I fortunately, like you, I had some protein snacks in there, and I gave him a protein bar, and it helped him, get through it.
Got a couple of things. Gun oil. You want the lube, man. The gun oil is what you need. You need to make sure that is in your gun because, especially if you're shooting high-powered rifles, they jam all the time, man. If you're just firing like a lot, you want to always have oil. So go out, get a decent bottle of oil. There's a million kinds to pick from, but get something decent, throw it in your bag. And here's the real tip: wrap it in 2 plastic bags because this is a learning lesson.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to put it in there, and then you're going to go through and it's going to explode or it's going to break and you're going to have oil all over your bag.
And it's never going to go away.
So 1 bag is not enough, okay? Safety man tip, right?
Yeah.
2 bags.
Double bag your lube. Double bag your lube. All right. All right. We've exceeded our FCC regulations for today. But also YouTube or look at the manufacturer instructions of where and how much oil your specific weapon needs, because some people over lubricate their weapons, and that can cause almost a reverse set of problems. So, sometimes less is more, but you got to do it properly.
An old rag. Just find an old rag you're about to throw out. You're not going to use it anymore. Throw it in your bag. I have old rags I just throw in there. They're great for sucking up oil. They're great for cleaning up a mess. Also, if you got to use extra tourniquet, you got to use for stuffing a wound, God forbid. But just an old rag. I mean, I use this so much. Just having something there, throw it in the washer when you're done. Throw it back in your bag. Old rag.
You'll be happy that you have all these things in there. You will.
Clips. Now, again, it depends on where you shoot. If you shoot in a range where they have all the clips set up and everything, you probably don't need these. But these like little extra heavy duty clamps, they're great for hanging targets. They're cheap. You can get them at Lowe's, Home Depot, or whatever. But just having some of these little clamps, I throw them in.
Always.
People always forget them. I always just bring extra.
And you're like the superhero when you have them, right?
I'm like, we got the clamps.
We got the clamps.
All right, here we go. If you're shooting outdoors, this is an outdoor thing. New Jersey has all 4 seasons. So right now we're 20-degree weather. So if you are shooting outside, especially in the winter or very cold months, I would highly suggest, and you can make fun of me, but listen, I like to be comfortable when I shoot. Hand warmers or feet warmers. Throw them in your boots. I'm telling you, these things are lifesavers. This is like a $2 investment that makes it like everyone else is like out there like, when are we going to be done?
Yep.
And I'm like, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. I got this. Your hands in your pockets all nice and toasty warm.
Hand warmers are a very cheap thing that you can invest in.
Yeah, you get them at the dollar store. I've seen them at the checkout counter at the 7-Eleven and Wawa. They're all over the place. Keep yourself warm. Keep yourself comfortable so you can focus on the task at hand so you don't get distracted. I know I was a pain as a firearm instructor when I was still with my agency, and I was a guy that minimized breaks. Let's shoot, let's get this done. Eat on your own time, kind of stuff like that. And I wouldn't let the elements bother me. They did. I just wouldn't let anybody know. It was too cool for school.
All right, if you're going to be training with people, I would highly recommend these. You can get these off like Amazon for dirt cheap. They're training rounds. Okay, these have, now people say, are they blanks? People that don't know the difference. No, these are literally, there's nothing to them. They're orange usually. They're plastic. They have no gunpowder in them, no explosive in them, no projectile in them. They are basically just used for just training. So they are great for like reloading, unloading, practicing, getting jams out of your weapon. And what's great about these, one, everyone sees, like I get the real bright orange one. So everybody knows, not that you should be pointing a weapon at everyone, but, everyone knows when they see these, they know, right? Like
that is a training round. And you don't want to accidentally load a training round in your shotgun for home defense or your pistol for home defense. That's why we, as Anthony said, we like to use the ones that are bright day glow orange. So it's universal safe training round, not a deadly force round.
Duct tape.
Yeah, NASCAR tape, 200-mile-an-hour tape. Got to have it.
Duct tape. It's a lifesaver. I'm telling you, you just use it again.
I've taped targets when we ran out of clips. I've had to use it to tape targets. Don't tape your gun together. Like if your gun breaks, don't use the duct tape to tape it together and shoot it again. Don't do that. That's not going to end well for you. I'm so excited to see what he's going to pull out next.
So I'm not going to go through all my tools and stuff like that, but just like you can tell me, there's probably more of you because you do a lot of like hands-on stuff. But like pliers, little pieces of tool, like little hand. You want to explain some stuff?
I like little Allen keys because a lot of the aftermarket sights that people are getting now, laser sights, flashlights, and hollow sights that are on the top of guns. And sometimes if you may think that it was sighted in when you got it on your brand new gun, but not always sighted in, or it may not be sighted in for you. So I always, in my bag, have little Allen keys and little screwdrivers like for fixing glasses because those are the only size that you can get to make those fine-tune adjustments. And I've helped many a shooter be able to dial in their laser or their holosight to where they're just boom, 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 putting rounds right on top of each other.
All right, this is definitely a beginner one. I always tell guys and girls, hat. Always wear a hat, because you want to explain what hot brass is?
Yeah, hot brass, when you fire around, and hot brass is evil, and it knows exactly where the worst place to possibly land, because it's about 800 degrees for about 5 seconds until it gets into the air. And hot brass, you don't want it going down your shirt, okay? You don't want it going down the back of your shirt. You don't certainly want it going down the front of your shirt. Young ladies out there, I've taken some young ladies to the range, and they fired a gun, and the hot brass went down their shirt. Now, I had to make a choice. I certainly wasn't going to go after the brass, but I couldn't let my shooter react and pull the gun out of the booth, so I chose to pin the shooter and the gun against the booth and allow her to use her one free hand to get her hot brass out. Had she been wearing a baseball hat, it would have prevented that.
All right, next. Again, a lot of this is outdoor shooting, because I do a lot of outdoor shooting, okay? This is another cheap dollar store. A poncho, okay? Here's my thing, and you're gonna, I'm sure we're gonna have some hardcore people on here, and they're like, yeah, I train and everything.
Train in the range.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's great if you're like the next level shooter, right? But I'm talking about a lot of beginners and stuff like that. My whole thought is you should be comfortable when you're shooting, so you get the basics down. Now, you get advanced and you get better and do other things. After that, get more stressed and things. But at least to start, you should be, comfortable. Try to feel relaxed to get the basics. Fundamentally, that's the biggest part. Once you get past there, great. But then again, also, if you're instructing other people and you're standing out there and you're just watching them as an instructor, it's great to have a poncho, so you're just literally not soaked staring at other people.
Yeah, because then you're not doing anything, and it starts to weigh on you.
Yeah. This is a little more advanced, too, but this is a red gun.
A red safety training gun. So this is a hard piece of plastic. Can't shoot bullets, no moving parts on it, but you can teach people their grip, their stance, their index in their finger for safety. As you see me here, my finger is indexed along the frame of the weapon for safety, and how we hold on to the gun properly. Not the Hollywood, none of this weird stuff that you see on TV. Nobody teaches anybody to shoot these crazy ways. So yeah, red safety training gun. And if you really want to get advanced, you can practice disarms and so forth and weapon retention. And you'll always want to use something like this, so there's no chance of anybody getting hurt. All right, there's the best gun at the range right there.
Yes.
That silver one.
And this is a game changer, especially if you're hanging your own targets. I'm gonna do a couple more things here. Buy a good staple gun, because these are great. And if you're gonna have a staple gun, make sure you buy the staples with them. A good staple gun like this, you can hang targets. And what's great about this is you can hang targets on top of targets. So instead of buying constantly brand new cardboard that's a little more expensive, you can get the paper targets and then just staple the paper targets on top of the cardboard, and that will actually save you money. So that's a good save.
Indeed. And like we talked about, I think in an earlier podcast, staple guns do need to be reloaded too. So I know Anthony said make sure you have staples, because again, you'll in the fourth one it's going to be empty.
Common sense, but make sure that you pack your weapon and your ammo in your bag. I don't have that in here with me, but make sure that is packed in your bag, obviously. And make sure that you put a safety lock on that stuff as well. And even you can get the little locks and the little safety master locks, and you can put them on your bag. So if you are traveling to the range, you should be going directly to the range and whatnot, but you should, put a lock on there if you can.
Exactly. Put a lock on it. And remember, the weapon and the ammunition is supposed to be separate in New Jersey, so make sure everything is unloaded, clearly marked, locked, secured, and away. Don't have it on your lap.
All right. And last one, because when you go out to eat afterwards and you go to lunch with your friends and you've been stinking and sweating.
Is that Axe?
It's deodorant spray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Deodorant. This is a speed stick.
I don't have that in my bag.
See?
That's odd. Okay.
Yeah. And so that was the last one, was the deodorant. But yeah, definitely comes in handy if you're going out to eat, man. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but like when I'm outside, I'm in the dirt and I'm just dirty, I'm sweating, and you're going to go get something to eat or whatever.
Yes.
Common decency.
Again, now remember, New Jersey, private citizens, you can't go out to eat after the range. You have to take your gun home first.
That's a good point.
To be safe. If you're an officer or if you have a lawful concealed carry permit, you can then stop to get something on the way home. Unfortunately, for our private citizens, you have to go from the range directly home. So bring your lunch with you and have it out at the range.
But if you are on a date, you might want to bring this anyway, right?
Yeah. Still, excuse yourself when you go to the porta potty.
Yeah.
You know, spray some Stink Pretty on the important areas, and then you'll be good to go.
So I got a little million other things in my bag, but that's just the I wanted to go to the base. The last thing I'll throw this out there though. The last thing.
There's always one more thing. It's like Apple. What the hell's that?
This is a brass retriever is the official. It's by Caldwell. So basically, it only works on certain surfaces and only works for certain ammo. But this will save your back. Like you don't have, one of the worst things about being in the range. Now, if you're at a private range, they usually clean up the brass for you
Because they want to reload.
Yeah. So if you're on if you're on a range where you're out and you're out with other people, and sometimes they'll tell you to clean up your own brass, your back is going to be killing you. So this is like a roller. It extends and it just rolls over and collects all the brass in this thing. So this was a good investment for my back is what this really was.
Yeah, my rookies. I should give those to my rookies.
Yeah, so they're good. But they don't work for all different ammo, but mostly 45, 9s. Rifle rounds are like hit or miss. It depends on if it's on dirt or concrete, how I'll pick it up. But this has saved my back a little bit. So that's my last one. But
yeah, so be a good steward to the range so you get invited back out there again. So clean up your brass.
So that's all I got. That's my basic stuff. So that is my range bag.
Yep. So range bags can save your day. All right. Keep them safe. Protein bars, pens, pencils, stuff to hang your targets, stuff to care for your weapon systems, stuff to protect you like eyes and ears and so forth. Keep yourself safe. Keep yourself happy. Shoot well. And that's it for the Safety Man podcast. Make sure you like, listen, follow, subscribe, share, comment, and let us know what you'd like to have us talk about. All right, I'm Corey Jones, safetyman.co, safetyman.co everywhere, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere you see social media, you'll see safetyman.co. And I'm with Ida Hoagie.
Yep, you can follow me on Twitter at Ida Hoagie. Check me out and comment and subscribe and let us know in the video what you want to see us next, like Corey said. So we're down to a whole bunch of cool ideas. We got a lot of experience and we love to share it with you. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Be ready.